All right, it's time for Younger Life. Hi, I'm Rick Federici.
I'm Mary Anthony.
You know, what is going on? You look so, you always look great. Let's first and foremost,
Oh,
and we all
please.
know that, but you almost look like you're ready to go work out.
I am. I'm excited. Today is, it's nice today.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
And it's so, you get the bug a little bit when it's nice out. And it's not often that I get to go work out or do something outside that I don't have to worry about the kids. So when we get done here today, I'm meeting my sister. I'll have an hour before my son's out of preschool.
And what does that mean?
We're going to go jogging.
Wow.
Really, when I say jogging, we walk and jog. You know what I mean?
No, it's great.
But it is
We
good,
call it
and
WOG.
we push it.
Wog.
And so we push it as far as we can, and so that's nice. And
Nice.
I'm excited about it, and it's I love this kind of
So
weather
do I.
where it's a little brisk still,
I love
like
this.
temperature wise, but it's just gorgeous. And so, I'm ready. And so I wore my tennis shoes today.
You
and
sure did.
I'm all comfy and ready to go, so that's nice.
So are you going to be meeting me a little bit later on today with
I
the Younger
am.
Life Live crew?
Today is the safety fair, the
Love
running with
this.
scissors and other things you
Yes.
shouldn't do at the Civic. And it's 2 to 6 today. And so you and I are going to go and going to take a peek around and talk to people that are there. And
I'm really excited
I
about
am
this,
too.
you
And
know.
I promise I will have cleaned up. I won't be stinky, sweaty, and I
She's
won't be
going
in
to
my
take a
tennis shoes.
sponge bath.
I will be fine. I will be ready to go for that. That's this afternoon.
So totally cool.
Yeah, and I'm thrilled. I am. I'm really looking forward to that. We've talked about it so much, and so we're going to go and do that, and that'll be recorded. Unfortunately, it won't be live, but we're going to share that piece later this week.
Which I think
and
is
kinda
awesome.
Me too, and kind of narrate our way through it. And it's a great way to wrap up the topic we've talked so much about. So be able to share that with everybody.
Now, one of the field trips that you and I did recently, we visited with our LaPorte firefighters.
Yes.
We did the Edith House. One of the things I want to throw out there, and if you wouldn't mind recapping on this is definitely going to be free and open
is.
to the public.
It is. It's free. It's open to the public. This is a partnership between a lot of different entities in the county. So LaPorte Hospital will be there. They're going to be doing some free health screenings. The fire department's going to be
Which
there.
I
They're going to have a
love.
truck, which is so cool. This is certainly kid friendly. Please bring your children. Mine won't be there today only because we're going during school hours still. And we have track meet and some other things.
You got
going
a lot
on.
of mom
There's
things. With
always
5
something.
kids, there's something
we have
going
track
on.
meet. We have 4-H.
Right,
We have
right,
other things going on this
right.
evening, but. So unfortunately, they won't get to go. And they were bummed because I was telling them about it. And especially one of my sons really wants to be a cop.
Awesome.
And so the police will be there. And I hear canine dogs, at
Yes.
least one, which
Yes.
is amazing. One of my daughters is dog crazy. And she's saying, are you going to get to pet the dog? I said, I don't know.
Oh, yes, you
But
will.
how cool is that?
Yes.
I mean, that is so cool. So, again, the hospital will be doing some free screenings. They're going to have the Edith House there, which we toured and shared that piece already, which is, a smoke. It's a fire simulation
Like a
house.
model
They say, yeah,
home.
it's a little
Yes.
like a little camper that they do simulated
And
fire
demonstrations.
emergencies in,
Yeah.
and so it's so cool, and it is definitely hands on. The hospital is calling this an interactive experience, which I think is so true and so cool. They're doing car seat checks.
That is
and
something that I love, and I
think
mentioned
it's
that on the radio
amazing.
this morning.
Yeah, and you know what I loved is when Maddie joined us from LaPorte Hospital, she pointed out that if they find that your seat is deemed not appropriate for your child, they give you for free, give you an appropriate seat. And I think
Yes.
that's just amazing. So,
And all, those of us that know these car seats, and especially the young parents that are out there, even the grandparents, folks that are even picking these up for
Absolutely.
shower gifts, they're big money. They're 75,
Oh,
100,
they
150,
are.
200.
The range is
They go
crazy.
way up
Yeah.
there. So knowing what seat to have is great. I think just the interactive side of it, as you
Mm-hmm.
had mentioned, being able to, and it's a really cool place, the LaPorte Civic.
Yep.
It's a great
It is
place.
a
It's
cool place.
huge, and it's got so much history.
it does, and
It
that's
really
what's
is
fun
cool.
about it. This is going to be in the building. This is going to be out in the parking lot. This is going to be a big event, and I think that it's going to be a lot of fun.
You know what I think would be great? That dog, and I don't know if you know the dogs, they do a lot of really neat demonstrations throughout the year. There are plenty of different events that we have done throughout the years where they're outside and they actually utilize some of the officers and some of the folks, but they show you how when they plant stuff,
Yeah.
how these dogs react, and
It's amazing.
by far some of the coolest things. And these dogs, for a lot of the young children and their parents, are like rock stars. Kind of like
they are.
the officers and the firefighters
they
are
certainly
rock stars
They're just as
to
much
our children.
They're just as much a hero.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so cool. And I always brag about how smart my dog is, and then I see dogs like that and think, I failed my dog on training.
Now, did you train your dogs? You and
we
Jeremy?
do ourselves.
Yes, that's what we do too.
So we've
We
never
always
done
have.
anything. Yeah, and of course, there's behaviors that I wish could be corrected, like the barking.
Sure.
It's very common for dachshunds to be barkers. They all are not, but our male is an excessive barker.
You have one?
We have two.
Two dachshunds?
Yeah.
Cool.
And so our male is excessive. He's a terrible yapper, and he makes the little female is a baby, so he gets her going all the time, and I'm trying to stop that behavior.
Does he bark on crazy weather, like thunder? Or
a little.
noises?
He
or-
barks if a leaf blows across the yard.
Okay,
He barks
okay.
at everything.
Yeah, okay.
And we've talked to the vet numerous times, and the vet said,
Oh, come on.
unfortunately, this is just some of the dogs. We've tried all of these different things. Besides going to the extreme of like a shock collar, I haven't tried that. Because he's our baby. I don't know
I
that
agree.
I could. But although I'm telling you, there are days where I think, oh, I wish I had one. I would get him today.
It's
but-
funny you bring that up because my neighbor recently, they don't have a fence.
Mm-hmm.
And I had thought about this, and I would personally, for me, it's not for me, but there are a lot of folks out there that utilize those dog collars.
Oh, I know.
That have the invisible fences.
Yeah.
To each his own. I'm not touching
yeah.
that. But I just thought from a standpoint of that, would you really want to do that? And how much does it hurt that little doggy
Well,
or dog? Might
right.
be big.
I've had I would use it if I felt like I had no other choice. We have we've always had a fenced yard. Unfortunately, a couple years ago our fence got damaged, and since then we've taken down the fence, and we're
Sure.
putting a new one up this year.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, our little female, because again, she's a puppy, we have to tie her up or she will run. And I mean, run
Like
to
run?
woods, anywhere she wants. And
Wow.
I'm afraid she'll get lost
Or
or get
eaten.
hit by a car
Or
or
eaten.
certainly eaten. I mean, one day during the day, which is not very common, but daytime, it was cold out, so we weren't outside. But across the front yard, a coyote walked.
They're all over the place.
I said, "Holy moly!" That's why we don't let the little
Yes.
dogs loose. Our male stays where we are. So if we're outside playing,
How little is the little baby?
okay, the baby. Well, she's actually, because she's 7 months now, so she's full grown.
Okay.
So a small dog, especially by 6 months, is pretty much full grown. So she is. Well, she was 9 pounds, and so she's a skinny
Holy
little,
cow.
like a little. She's.
Do you realize what else could take that little dog away? It
Well-
reminds me of the Wizard of Oz, a hawk.
I know. Well,
Like their claws.
when they are, it's funny when our male, who he's about 6 now. So when we first got him, he was under 3 pounds. And so I one time had him out in the middle of the night, and I set him down on the grass, and I ran back up on the front porch just because I was barefooted. So I ran up there, and I heard this loud screech. I don't know really what it was. It was probably an owl, but I was panicked that something was going to swoop in and snatch my
Yes,
baby up.
and that's true. It does happen.
So I ran down, and I've got my arms in the air trying to make as much noise as I can, like such a nerd. But anyways, that the canine dog is a huge draw, I think, to especially the officers in their vehicles. What kid isn't fascinated by a cop car, an ambulance?
And
They're
you
gonna
get the
be
little
there.
trading cards. A lot of them have their own trading cards.
That is so neat.
Like, I'm serious, like
That is
baseball cards.
awesome. I
they have
didn't
the
know
dog.
that.
Oh,
I didn't know that.
They like palm. It's really cool.
Wow, I can't
yeah.
wait. So that's going to be a really fun event, and again, we'll air that later this week, hopefully.
Sure.
So that will tie everything in that we've been able to talk about. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Today, with the nice weather, though, our main focus is allergy season. It's back. It's coming
with a vengeance.
It is, and this is some of the issue. I mean, this morning it was funny to me listening to my kids getting ready, and my husband and 2 of our children have allergies, seasonal allergies, as well as a few like cat allergies. But the seasonal allergies, it's projected to be a pretty rough allergy season due to the lighter winter. And I heard one of my children this morning sneeze, and I thought, really? I mean, already? But then, the research that we have been reading through says that experts are saying 2016 could be an exceptionally bad spring allergy season, So these people that suffer, like my own family members, some of them, what do you do to get in gear? You know, as a mom, and I don't have allergies, so it is for me. It's more like trial and error, trying to figure out for these guys to help out, and my husband is one of them. You know, it's the sneezing, the little bit of coughing, the puffy eyes, the just feeling terrible. It's going to be rough. I know even our own Mary Gelati, last week, a couple of the days, she would come in and her eyes were just running. And, I joke with her and say, oh, don't cry.
Should we bring her in the studio?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, she's had a really rough time already.
Mm-hmm.
And, I would joke with her and say, oh, don't cry. And she's saying it's just they won't stop running already, which is quite scary and nerve-wracking when we're looking at that. So I kind of want to see what everybody else what they do, maybe what their tricks of the trade are for dealing with their own allergies, as well as pointing out that I was shocked to read that Americans spend nearly $2 billion each year on over-the-counter allergy remedies.
Now, does that surprise you? For me personally,
shocks me.
My house, my daughter, Devin, Carly, and Norma, allergy kids. Again, I don't have allergies. So are you the only one in your home too?
No. There's only my husband and 2 of the kids. So myself and 3 of the kids don't
so you're
deal
good.
with it. Every now and then I think, especially if we've been outside, or different areas outside that we're
Sure.
not used to, not our own yard or something, I might notice that they seem a little more runny in the eyes, you know what I mean? But not really. It's really primarily my husband has the worst allergies, and then 2 of the kids have a lot of seasonal allergies and pet allergies. But, the point of pointing out this $2 billion each year is that even though Americans are spending this kind of money, many of them still feel that the ability of these drugs to minimize their symptoms is minimal at best. They're not working very well. So, you think, holy cow, we're spending a very large amount of money and still don't feel too satisfied with the results. I mean, that's a big deal. So I think obviously talk to your doctor. I was surprised in reading that, you can get allergy testing. Of course, I've always known that, but they can do so many things your doctor can do so many things to try to figure out exactly what triggers your allergies to try to make a plan for you that's going to actually help out better than just taking one of the over-the-counter medications. It actually may be a combination of things that they can prescribe. So I have never actually, I've mentioned to the doctor, the pediatrician, I'm pointing out, that my 2 of the children have allergies, but we've never gotten into too much detail because it doesn't seem to be a nagging constant problem. Honestly, it hangs on to my husband much worse than it does the kids.
Do you take your children and Jeremy, do you guys separately on this one from that perspective? Does Jeremy go and get that checked out like every 3 to 6 months?
No.
Now, the other side, how about your children?
No, we just if there's a flare up, like if they're having a particularly hard time, I will talk to the pharmacist and say, let's try this for now, and seems to manage through and muddle through. But again, I would definitely say that as far as managing the symptoms, the snotting and
Sure.
just even the plugged nose on the
Can I
reverse
tell
of
you,
that.
have they asked, I want to ask you this, do any of them get affected by behind the ears
Swelling?
and the throat and going into the nose? Because the ears, nose, throat side of things, like my daughter Carly, funny you bring this up, this past weekend, she literally she was fine. And then all of a sudden she woke up and she had the eyes that were hurting her. And I could tell right away. I said, allergies? I looked at her, I go, allergies, because Dad, it's definitely the weather. We brought her in and they basically said that, she said, I'm having a hard time swallowing. They're like, that is a direct result.
It is. The draining,
drip.
that's it.
Exactly, yes.
So, they all get sore throats. I don't notice their glands as swollen or anything.
Right behind the ears.
But just the pressure.
Yeah.
It causes so much sinus pressure and headaches and, all of those things. So, again, I typically just talk to the pharmacist. I didn't realize until doing a little bit of research that, the doctor, there's actually a few different tools that they can use to narrow down the triggers for your allergies. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
they can do skin test. They can have you do journal tracking, which we've, talked about before, and that definitely requires patient participation, and then blood tests too. Your physician though can take these results and focus on developing a treatment path that goes along with, your age and the severity of these symptoms. And it's not always just antihistamines. They can actually help come up with a combination of antihistamines, decongestants, nasal steroids, which I think that's a spray.
And that's what I would like to know a little bit about,
Right.
because I have been told, and I don't know if this is true, but I try to tell my girls, and in fact, what they gave Carly was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was like a Flonase type
Like,
product.
was that a nose spray?
Right. But then I'm always worried that is that A, addictive.
I know.
B, does it screw up
Anything
your
is scary.
nose? And I would love to talk to a professional. We aren't doctors,
Oh, we certainly aren't. And
but we have children.
well, we do. Not only that, my husband, he's miserable when this goes on. So when it starts flaring up, he has a rough time. He actually has a worse time than the kids because his are more severe. But the knowing that we're going to have these little bit of, they call them pollen super bursts.
Yes.
This year, particularly as because the winter, was up and down. Of course, we had a lot of cold, but it was not a very severe winter. So because of the temperatures going up and down, these pollen superbursts are projected to be very likely this spring and summer. So as our temperatures warm like they are today, and as we see coming, we're thrilled with that. But the flip side of that, there are going to be people that suffer. And, definitely talk to your doctor and talk to your pharmacist. I think this conversation will be fabulous next time we have a pharmacist on, which will be next Thursday on the 21st. That will be our next Ask the Pharmacist. Since last week was, we were jumbled around a little bit. We had to change them, so they won't join us until next Thursday, the 21st. But beyond that, they're going to be a reoccurring every other Thursday. So these are great questions and great topics for our pharmacist next week. So we can ask what they recommend for sure. I know eye drops too. I'm curious as to know what kind of eye drops help with allergies and, as far as on a more broad range. And I know that there are allergy shots, so I'd be interested to talk to the pharmacist about, I know that would be something your doctor would prescribe, but at what point should you actually possibly seek that out?
For example, too, as we were young and some of the other things that are out there, back to the eye drops at hand, when you look at, and I'm just going to say some names out there, and I'm not saying use or don't use, nor are we doctors.
These are our
all
own
that great
opinions,
stuff.
right?
Right. But you look at like a Visine where it gets the red out, and the red could be the direct result of the allergies and stuff like that. Now, I know through the years they've kind of upped it, but they also have a product called Clear Eyes. And I know, again, some of these products have very special things inside of them that helps with the eyes, all related to allergies. And again, I don't know, but then I also want to say we should talk to an eye doctor, because what if someone has allergies, but then they also wear glasses or contacts?
Right. It's a very
what
good point.
should you be using? Because, man, I am such a fanatic. I know a lot of people that wear contacts.
I'm one of them.
Oh, I didn't even realize that.
I've had glasses since second grade.
Okay, and I wear glasses too, but I wear them to see far.
Oh, really? Oh,
Right.
okay.
So you're wearing contacts right now?
Oh, yeah.
I can't even tell.
I've had glasses and contacts. I got contacts in seventh grade ish.
So
but I've always had glasses and contacts.
You actually put it in your eye with stuff.
Every day.
Doesn't it freak you out?
Not at all. You know what I mean? I
Wow.
think because I've always, again, I was second grade when I got my very first pair of glasses, and I distinctly remember having them fit my face the first time they put them on me, being able to see. I've always had poor vision, and I didn't realize it. Obviously, second grade, you don't realize it. And
Right.
I remember when they put them on my face. I was sitting near a window, and the gentleman put them on my face, and I could see leaves on the trees. And I said, I never knew you could see leaves on the tree. I thought it was just green. It just looked green to me.
Wow.
And so I'll never forget that. And, I was second grade, but that feeling, man, I will never forget that. And I have a couple children that have glasses, and now actually both of those two, my oldest two, they both have contacts as well.
My wife wears contacts, and my other two daughters, we all wear glasses.
Oh, yeah.
So pretty much we all have something.
Yeah.
And I got them later in life.
Oh, not
I didn't have to
not
worry.
me.
But the reason I was able to figure this out, and this is something good, pardon me, is I was far back in the classroom and I couldn't see the chalkboard, and I was flipping out. And then I started getting headaches.
Yeah.
Because I was kind
headaches
of
are big thing.
Total factor there. But I couldn't focus on anything. You know, it's like one of those things where you get real the headaches. Then I'm like, oh yeah. But you're right. The first time you actually put them on, you're able to use them, especially if you're like, I use them for driving and like seeing far. So I'm looking at the signage way ahead, you know, like whether it's an exit ramp or, you know, flashing
road sign, anything.
Right. And you're going like, wow, I can see that. But I can see you doing exactly what you have, you know, spoken of, where it's like, everything looks like one big blurb or blob.
It does. Well, you know, I knew it was green, and I knew there were leaves.
Sure.
I knew what leaves looked like because they fall on the ground. But to look up at a tree just looked like it was a green mass to me. And so I that was such a cool feeling, you know. And so as I've watched my older two get glasses, to watch them experience that shock the very first time they put their glasses on, you don't realize vision loss is usually so subtle that you don't realize it until it's really bad, or at least until you've seriously need a prescription. So by the time you get it, the difference is just remarkable. So
now these types of things with allergies, are they saying that, because this is something that you were talking about asking the pharmacist, we could ask about different things, because I could tell you, I know when Norma went to find out what she was allergic to. I remember this like it was yesterday. I went with her and they did
the skin testing,
all the different tests on her arms where they would try different things, you know, what would affect her, grass,
dust even. Boy, someone would be really a mess if they were allergic to dust in my house.
Think about this. My wife, and I love this, and if she's listening, I love you, Norm. 219-861-1632 if you want to call in and chime in about your allergies or anything. She said they did all these tests on her and she bumps. Yeah. It was all related to grass and outside.
Really? So
she
all
can't,
outdoor.
Yes, she can't do the grass. And I'm like, what? So she can't pick up, but I enjoy working outside. I love it. In fact, it's very therapeutic. It's very relaxing for a lot of us. But it's interesting because I don't want her to ever touch leaves or grass clippings or the bushes. And if she does, she wears gloves.
Right.
And she helps, but I'm like, always like, oh, watch your eyes.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people touch their faces and their mouths and it
is absolutely. And, you know, just in the air alone can still irritate her allergies. And something that I found interesting when I was reading about allergies is how important the timing is that you seek medical attention. And like now is really the time you really should get into your doctors if you deal with severe allergies, so they can kind of help get a plan of action in before we start seeing a huge, you know, these super bursts of pollen going on. They do say experts agree that you should begin applying appropriate allergy medications and remedies at least a week to 2 weeks before the start of allergy season and continue the protocol throughout the season. It's much more difficult to halt an allergy flare-up once it's began than it is to prevent it starting. So that was really interesting to me, and all the more reason to, you know, talk to your doctor, have a conversation with your doctor if you're the one that suffers, or with your pediatrician if it is your children. Like I said, I've always just talked to the pharmacist. Although I've mentioned it to the pediatrician about the two, they don't tend to suffer. It's not prolonged typically. If it flares up, then a little bit of over-the-counter typically will handle, at least manage well enough to get them through.
Do you mind me asking? And again, we're not supporting any products,
right?
But what do you use for your children that's over-the-counters?
It's been a couple different things. I've talked to the pharmacist, like I said, and you know, Claritin or Zyrtec, they say over-the-counter.
Sure.
There's another one that we've Allegra.
Okay. And I was going to say Allegra, Claritin, all the ones you just said.
Allegra. I know we noticed. That was more, we would use that more if there's already been a flare up, and it seemed to help that. You know, one of my daughters, we go to a horse stable. One of my daughters has an issue with, much to her, she tries to deny it, but the dander and the hay in the air bother her allergies.
Eyes.
It's her eyes.
Yeah,
I could see that. She gets a little itchy, and it will even be where she'll get, I won't call them hives because they're not definite bumps, but she just gets itchy on the skin. She'll get a little red and splotchy.
Yes.
And so we've noticed that that Allegra for her.
And she's a horse kid?
Yeah. So it's
Wow.
really, it stinks. But
4-H'er?
we've done 4-H. Yeah,
Nice.
there's a very nice program through 4-H called Horseless Horse for those kids that don't actually have a horse.
Sure.
And you get paired up with a 4-H member, so you have to take care of the horse. You see the horse, you ride the horse
You
a
get
couple
to
times
experience
a week,
it.
and you show the horse at 4-H. And so
Wonderful.
we've done that, and we love that.
Great.
And actually, we've had a few kids do that already. I've already had 3 go through the years they're allowed to of taking over someone else's horse.
Mm-hmm.
But they love it. They beg for a horse all the time. We just don't have the room for a horse. But
And let's be honest, the upkeep of that
it's just crazy.
is crazy.
And for us, the physical work I could deal with, but there's just not, we don't have the space. We don't have the land, the acreage for
Sure.
it, and it is terribly expensive, the upkeep of
Way
some of that.
way expensive.
So, still they love it. And all of the kids love it, but her in particular, she adores the horses, and it's her allergies that flare up the worst. So
does she take something before
we
she
do
rides?
Allegro before. Yep,
That's good.
We do Allegro before we go to the barn, and that's what we've done. We've noticed a good response. Now, if we've already had one of my little guys has bad allergies as well, and he breaks out in hives from everything that irritates him, and so he gets really itchy. Benadryl helps him. Our pediatrician has recommended, the Claritin or Zyrtec, something
Sure.
on a daily basis during allergy season. So that's what we try to do that every day, or at least a couple times a week, even if there's no symptoms, But if he gets hives or something, Benadryl, really, I know that's very old fashioned sounding, but Benadryl does great as long as we only do that at bedtime, because, it can make him drowsy, and you don't want him to be groggy through the day.
Agree.
So we don't
Agree.
do that. That's only if we have to, and we do that then at night if necessary.
So it's interesting because as I've gotten older,
Mm-hmm.
the last couple of years especially, nothing has ever affected me, but there have been a few times, just a few,
Mm-hmm.
could count them on one hand, but I will go into the local pharmacy and I will say, what can I take? Because
Yeah.
I have to watch my heart.
Oh,
As
absolutely.
you know,
That's
but
very scary. Again, all the more reason to talk to your doctor.
that spin on that. But the Claritin really has done wonders for me at times where I'm affected.
Yeah.
And I could tell my wife will be like, it sounds like, allergies. I'm like, this is crazy.
Never had them. But that's such a common thing. I know there have been so many people that I've talked to that didn't have allergies
In
until
their
they
younger
moved
years?
to the area or as they age, which
Yes.
I am always surprised by. But again, talk
And
to
you're
your
good?
doctor about it. I am. I don't seem to be. It doesn't seem to bother me.
So do you have can I ask us, do you have dogs that shed?
Oh, they shed. They do shed. They don't shed excessively or anything.
And I want to throw this out there to people because this affected our home when we didn't realize this either. We had, and we love our dogs, as you know, but we had a purebred lab as a baby.
Oh, goodness. I
And
know.
it was the coolest dog in the world. And Norm and I just love this dog. Now, our children were little, and this is when we found out. All of a sudden, my 2 daughters were affected, and the eyes and stuff. And we didn't even think about this, Mary.
Really?
Like we didn't even.
Yeah.
It wasn't even an option in terms of thinking about this dog was affecting it. We had the dog for 6 months. We were at the doctor on a checkup, and we told the doctor, "Here's what's going on." He goes, "Do you have a dog?" And we're like, "Yes." We said we had a lab. He goes, "I guarantee you." And it turned out we had to give it to one of our neighbors.
Oh, that's so sad.
And it was sad. It was
terrible.
crazy sad.
But it's very true.
But it helped.
And labs shed a lot.
Oh, they sure
So,
do.
you
So do
know-
a lot of animals.
They do. We had labs years ago, so that hair is a hair that is excessive hair. I mean, I feel like they have a lot of hair that they lose.
Yes.
So certainly for someone that has allergies, that would definitely aggravate it. That was before the 2 kids with allergies, so that didn't matter. Although my husband, he didn't care. He loved the dog. He would have dealt with it. But I do notice with cats, they have, cat dander's a little different. So that is a huge. The children love cats, but if they handle cats, the 2 that have allergies, they'll be puffier on the eyes and itchy and just, it definitely affects them big time. And my husband as well. We could be at a house if they have cats, especially more than one cat, even if he doesn't touch the cats, and his eyes itch and his throat burns.
Can I tell you something? It's funny you bring that up because, as you know, as we look at homes,
Yeah.
my wife will walk into a home and there'll be no animals there, and she'll, within literally nanoseconds, say, "I have to leave," or
Really?
they have a cat,
can
or
tell
they
it.
have right
Yeah.
away.
That's hard.
Do your children
They
get
aren't as
affected
severe
by
as
that?
my husband, just him. He definitely, again, we could be somewhere if they have cats, especially if it's more than one cat, even if they're put up, they're put away. My perfect example, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law that live in Nebraska, Jeremy's brother and his wife, they have cats. And they do, when we're going to come and visit, my sister-in-law is a doll. She will clean top to bottom so there's, no real hair out, and keep the cats locked in their room, But when we go, usually about a week before we go, my husband starts taking an allergy medication. He will use Allegra. And so that way that it won't swell him up so bad and start his nose running, So we find ways around it. Allergies are just, they are a real nuisance for many, many people. And, I didn't realize that how important it is to talk to your doctor about it, because they can get to the bottom of many allergies and try to find some ways to help out. But I am curious for our listeners, what do you do that might be different? I've heard the neti pot,
Sure.
for sinus and allergy
Sure.
I've done that.
issues.
Mary,
Yeah, so
I've done the neti
Mary,
pot.
let's talk to Mary about
yes,
this.
let's talk to Mary. I know you deal with a lot of allergies. I was
I
commenting
do.
on your eyes running last week.
And I
couple
don't
times.
understand why it is, because it was snowing out.
Mm-hmm.
And usually allergies don't kick in until it's officially spring,
Yeah.
And it really isn't officially spring yet, is it? Oh,
It
yeah,
is.
I guess
It
it
is. But this
But
year's
with the
projected
weather-
to be one of the worst.
Well, when I'm driving to work and I can feel it coming, my eye just runs down my cheek, and there's not a thing I can do about it. I don't know what it is. If it's milkweed, what would it be at this time of year? I don't know.
Well, in the just reading about it, it just says the spring allergy season. There's pollen bursts, but this is supposed to be a exceptionally rough year for spring super bursts, where because of a lighter winter and the temperatures weren't consistently that cold. So I'm curious, what do you take to manage your symptoms? Do you take a daily medication, or do you just as
I
symptoms
really don't
pop up?
take anything. I have taken Claritin.
Yeah.
But now I think Claritin, is that the one where you have to almost give your firstborn to the pharmacist?
In terms
Oh,
of what
I'm not
price?
sure.
No, because you have to sign these
yeah.
papers.
Have you
because
noticed that?
I think, and I said, really? And because you make some kind of a
Well,
drug with it.
apparently
I don't know.
meth, I think it is.
Oh, that's what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's an
I was like,
ingredient
do I look
in
like
some
I
of
know
these.
how to make
I know.
that?
And you know what though? It's so sad to me that it has become that drugs have become such a humongous problem.
Yeah.
That even buying some of the cold medicines.
Yes, you're right.
You have to go to the pharmacist and sign.
Yes.
Which is obviously for those of us that are clearly buying them for the right reasons. It's no big deal, but it does seem funny. It makes you feel almost like you're doing something.
I felt like
Naughty.
bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Naughty.
It's like
That's good.
shame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, if that's as naughty as I get.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I'm pretty boring when I think, ooh, I did
take
something naughty
Claritin.
today.
Is it
I
like
bought-
acetaminophen or something?
Which is
some
just crazy. So,
yeah.
so have you talked to your doctor about it though, Mary?
Not really, because I don't often go to the doctor. I go once a year for a checkup.
I think that's
And-
so common. And reading about
is.
this, there really is, you should talk to your doctor about it, because they can do some testing to find what really triggers yours and try to come up with a good combo for medication. I was surprised by that, honestly, because we too don't go to the doctor very often unless you really need
sick,
to. Yeah.
right.
But this is something you don't have to suffer through. you know?
Right.
At least not to this degree. So.
I
to
would
remember
like to
to
know, I
mention it,
just
sure.
got a text for you, Mary. When did Mary find out that she had allergies? Was that as a young girl?
I think as a young girl.
Really?
But mostly since I've been an adult.
Worse?
But an allergy can hit you at any time. It doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman or a
Right.
child. And you could be going through your life and be 60 years old and all of a sudden get an allergy. So
Yeah.
it can hit you at any time.
Yeah, that's
So,
a good point.
if that's the worst thing that I have to
I know,
face,
right?
I can deal with it.
Well, and
yeah.
I think a lot of us do feel like that. I mean, I don't suffer allergies, but again, my husband and a couple of my kids do. I feel like when they do, when they do strike, we think, oh, we'll manage through it. But, in doing a little bit of the research, by speaking to your doctor and kind of trial and error a little bit, you don't have to waste a ton of money on different things over the counter. They can kind of find what a good balance that might work for you better. in
Is this?
preventing
Are
it.
we basically talking about seasonal?
We are
allergies?
talking about
Yes.
seasonal allergies
Okay.
versus
Yes,
like
people are left and right
We're just
asking the
really talking
questions.
about, not medication allergies. Even the pet dander, I would say talk to your doctor. But
That
these
is
are
a serious
specifically-
thing,
It
that
really
pet
is.
dander.
That's wicked. Now, you
My
had
daughter
animals. Go ahead.
is so allergic. This is an odd thing, and I kind of when this first happened, I almost didn't believe her because we had 2 cats, and they lived in the house with us,
Yeah.
and she was fine. And then those cats passed away, and so we ended up with 2 other cats.
Yeah.
Well, she was highly allergic to them,
Really?
and to this day, she can go stand on somebody's front porch, and she'll say, "Oh, they have cats."
My husband.
That's-
my
that's
husband.
normal.
And I'm like, "Oh, come on."
No, I'm serious.
But it's
That's normal.
really
It starts
true.
with a
Yes.
burning in his eyes and in his
Yeah.
throat, like right away.
Yeah, and it's really horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible. I mean, because I've never suffered that, I know what a cold feels like and how miserable that can be.
Sure.
But, you know, to have that, especially flare up at any time,
Yeah.
is just misery.
But to know, just even standing on somebody's
Yeah.
front porch and know that they have cats is, I think
Yeah,
it's
that
weird, but-
stinks.
yeah.
You know why? It's interesting that you had cats that didn't bother her. I think that, you know, there is in a sense, if they've always been around, you kind of build a tolerance to them, but then the pet dander is different, you know, from pet to pet and stuff. So, I mean,
You
it's
know what?
interesting.
Speaking of that, Alex, our executive producer, Alex Bassett, says, while you guys are talking about this, I really don't have allergies, but I wanted to let you know, for some of us, sometimes with long-haired animals, it seems like once in a while I am affected by that.
Really?
And that's of a very interesting scope. I don't know how you guys are. I'm fine with all animals. I could pet pretty much anything,
I think me
even
too.
when I'm out at the local county fairs.
Yeah.
And you're going through different barns and
Yeah.
different things. I have no problem, but I could see, it's funny when you brought up the 4-H and the hay.
Yeah.
The hay
Oh.
would affect
Well,
me.
remember last year when we were walking around the fair?
Yes.
And we were like sneezing and
Right.
It
It
had
doesn't
to-
bother me.
It
I
probably,
know.
I think it was the hay.
I
Oh,
do
it
too.
probably was in the air. It definitely bothers one of my
Hey.
daughters. So.
Hey.
I think
Yeah.
it's just it was an interesting topic, especially as our weather is improving. It is important to note now is really the time. This was the other thing I was surprised about, Mary, how important the timing of getting on these proper medication regimen for you to prevent it. Because once it does really start flaring up, it's so difficult to manage the symptoms rather than to try to prevent them from beginning. So
And the seasons bring on new allergies, like
They do.
in fall.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's a whole new ballgame.
it is.
You know?
It really is.
So
And I definitely feel bad for all of you allergy
I think of.
sufferers.
Do you remember when you were like a little girl or little boy? You were never a little girl, Rick, but when you would just jump in a pile of leaves in the
Yeah.
fall. There's no way I could ever do that again.
How do you know I wasn't a little girl ever?
Well, I'm just speculating that you weren't, but you know, a pile. My nose is itching just talking about
Just
this.
thinking
Isn't
about
that
it?
crazy?
Yeah, yeah.
You do. You
Wow,
start talking
yeah.
about it, like you get itchy. Well, even when you were talking about your daughter and you were talking about and your son, his neck area, I'm like, you get real like that
It's hard not to,
heebie-jeebies.
right? Right. Oh, because we've all had, even if it's not allergies, you've all had something that's irritated your skin, or know what that how miserable that can be to get hives, or to have the bad sinus
Oh,
cold.
have you ever had
and the
hives?
pressure.
No.
I
I've had
have.
chicken pox, but I can't ever remember having
I've had
hives. I don't have
hives.
very sensitive skin. so-
Really? Oh, could I have that back scratcher back that I gave you yesterday?
Sure, I actually have
funny.
That was the creepiest thing. I mean, people are some of the local businesses and people, they give out these back scratchers, and I think they're like
No.
they're giant pens with a hand on it.
I thought it was a pen.
She goes, "Oh, look at this pen." I'm like, "Oh no, that's not a pen." Then she pulls it out. It's a
Yeah.
giant.
Back
You're gonna
scratcher.
laugh at me,
What?
but I will have an itch that I can't stand. So what I do, I keep a back scratcher in my van.
I have
So
one
if
in my
I'm
trunk.
driving, well, it's like by the driver's seat. So if I'm driving and I get an itch, I cannot stand to have an itchy back. It's so distracting to me, and I keep one near my bed. Isn't that ridiculous?
Oh my gosh! You know, we
Because
all have our little
nothing-
idiosyncrasies.
We- yeah.
Alex, pull up the thing over here. This is the pen. She thought this
It's
was a
not
pen,
a pen, though.
which I would think it was a pen too. And I thought, oh, maybe you take off the little, front part of it.
I think it is a pen. Do you take the bottom off?
Well, wait, watch.
Well, let's see.
Yeah, no, but I think the bottom comes off.
Let's see.
Where? The bottom?
Yeah.
This bottom?
No, where the cap is.
Oh, hold on. Okay, you try.
That one
'cause
is
I'm
a
being
pen.
little-
I don't think so.
I think that one's a pen.
Look at
no?
look at her. Look at Mary Anthony.
I'm like,
It'll be a pen.
There is a thing on this that looks like a pen.
Right.
No, I don't break it.
Right. No, you break
Did
it.
you hear me say what a nerd I am? I keep one by my driver's seat, and I keep one by my bed. Nothing pisses me off worse than having a bad itch that I cannot get someone to reach. So I'm like, give me the back scratcher.
And then you don't want to ask for someone to scratch your back.
Oh,
You know,
I'll always
I
ask
do.
my husband or my kids. They love to scratch, but you know as well as I do, it goes all around the itch. And
It
instead I'm
does.
just like,
I
take care of
will,
it.
but I will ask if I have an itch
You're
on
so
my back
cute.
or whatever,
funny.
I'm not proud. I'll ask whoever's around.
I
Like I'll
wonder.
stand in line at the grocery store and say, "Would you scratch my back?"
Get out of here.
That brings up a whole new topic.
Creepy lady.
Is it? Would you, if someone asked you to scratch their back, would you just willingly go, "Okay, I will"?
Oh,
It
don't
creeps-
get out of here.
I
No, you
would.
wouldn't.
It creeps some people out.
Yeah.
Some people
Like
are not
on your bare
touchers.
skin. That's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
Oh, I would never
Or
want to
huggers.
touch someone's bare skin.
Right.
But I'd scratch it over their shirt.
Yeah, I would too.
I would go.
Yeah.
You know, I would do
Mama.
that. Or I could go, here, come onto my van with me. Here, you use my back scratcher
Yeah.
and take it home.
The creepy, even though you're a young woman, creepy old lady wants me to come out to her
no,
van.
that's funny. That's
Well, it's
funny.
like, have you ever had a terrible itch? Like, this is not a seasonal allergy, but like
Right.
between your toes.
No, not
No.
really. I mean,
Well,
on my
can I ask
bottom
you
of
a
my
question?
foot.
I've always wanted to ask someone this.
Okay.
Okay.
And now,
Uh-oh.
if everybody's listening and watching, when you take a shower,
Okay.
do you dry between your toes?
All the time. Okay, now wait. Think about
Okay.
this. When you get out of the shower, I'll tell you what I do, and that you guys may laugh at this. I
Is
was
that
just
true?
thinking about this morning. I literally, since we don't have a camera from the waist below, I actually dry off my back, but then I always, to keep myself stretched, because I usually like to stretch, I'll pull my foot up and then do everything. My foot and then
Okay.
my other one. I know it sounds weird,
Mary
but
hasn't answered though. I'm just curious.
I'm trying to think because I'm usually hustling in and out.
Well,
I wash between my toes, but I'm trying to think when I get out, I just dry my foot off as a whole, but I stay barefoot a lot.
Well,
I'd rather be barefoot.
I
so-
have
Okay.
to tell you this.
I'm
I
okay. Yeah.
walked in the bathroom one time when my husband was getting out of the shower, and I was watching him. He was drying between each toe.
So I
Yeah.
don't do that.
I said,
don't
"What are
think.
you doing?"
what?
I don't
he
think I
said,
do that. I just
Drying
as a
between my
whole do my
toes.
whole
Right.
And I'm like, "Does everybody do that? I mean,
That's
where did
funny.
you? Who taught you to do that?"
Well,
That's a
I'm like,
funny
that's
question.
odd. To
Well, I
me.
think too, it depends upon. Well,
I
it just
blow dry
depends.
mine. No.
How you blow dry? Oh my gosh. Well, do you let you ladies paint your toes?
Yeah,
Well, no. Someone else does.
Okay.
I do mine
you?
from spring on. During the winter, this is funny. I try to not paint my toenails at all.
Yeah.
Because when you paint your nails or fingernails, anything too long, they get a little yellowish
Yes.
tint from
Oh.
polish
They
being
sure
on them all
do.
the time. So during the winter, I don't paint my toenails at all. Isn't that funny? That I
Yeah.
whatever.
How do we get out on toes?
I
Hold
know,
on.
really, from
Hold on.
allergies to-
Someone has a question. We're not doctors, and I'm not going to have the answer to this unless you ladies know.
Okay.
Here's a question. You guys were talking about nails. My nails have bumps on them. I have them painted all the time. I want to know, is this from a vitamin deficiency? By the way, BTW, by the way, everybody.
Okay.
By the way, I can't drink milk. I'm lactose intolerant. Someone told me it's a lack of milk or vitamins.
Oh.
Talk to your doctor.
That's a really
Yeah.
great
It is.
question.
That would
Well,
be a
you
great
know.
question. You know what? We'll save that. I'll write that one
Oh,
down for
please,
when our
yes.
pharmacist is here
Yes.
next Thursday.
There are so
That's a
many
great
people
question.
that are lactose intolerant.
Thank you, Kay.
are. But I think I
Yeah.
think that's a great question. But I
It
would
is.
definitely say talk to your doctor because it may be a vitamin deficiency. That,
Well, I mean,
but let's ask the
they
pharmacist.
actually took a picture of their fingernail. It's a,
Really?
it's a, it's
Are they
ridged.
white?
They're white, but they're ridged. Here we go again.
Okay.
Yes, and please ask them. I will be listening. When is the pharmacist on?
Pharmacist will be on next Thursday, the
That's a
21st.
great question for
That is a
So I
good.
think
when
that's
you were
fantastic.
growing up, they said if you got the little white lines on your fingernails,
That was lack of vitamins, correct?
no, because you told a lie. That's
Oh,
how many
that's
lies
funny. I
you
never
told.
heard that one. I heard it was
Yeah.
a bruise.
Oh,
I don't
Really?
know. I don't really
I don't
know.
know, but I'd
so
like to
again,
know.
great question for the pharmacist. There's so many questions last time that we didn't even get to get to them all. So we
Here's
saved
another
some
one to
of them.
write down.
Okay.
This is a good one. Hi, I'm a female, 42. Listen to the show.
Okay.
Love you guys. I have discolored armpit area.
Okay.
And I'm trying to figure out what that is from. So I'm assuming that they've got their normal skin color,
Yeah.
but underneath their arm areas, maybe I'm assuming a little darker. If you guys want to expand on that, something to ask that they said, can you ask the pharmacist
Absolutely,
if there's
we
something
will.
that cream?
Oh yeah,
Cream.
definitely.
yeah, that's
I,
a great question.
It is
I
a
will-
great question.
I will write those down after the show. Take your.
You're going to
phone
ask me to
and-
remember.
No, I'm going to look.
I
at
have another one too.
Okay.
Okay.
We were talking about
Sure.
allergies and
Yes.
seasonal allergies. There are some people, and I am one of them. I do not have pierced ears.
Okay.
But I had pierced ears when I was a little girl.
Okay.
But I had trouble because my ears itched so bad. My
What?
ear
That's,
lobes.
Behind?
that's typically
Yeah, the
a
lobes.
nickel allergy.
Oh, I did not.
Your
know
My
that.
sister has one.
Okay.
That's the only. I mean, I would definitely.
I wear clip earrings now, but if I don't buy a really nice pair of clips, my ears,
My
it's
sister's the same.
uncontrollable itch.
It's my sister. Any jewelry, watch, anything.
Okay.
It's a nickel allergy in her system. So she has to buy earring wise, like she has to wear at least 14 karat gold and up, otherwise they irritate her.
Yeah.
And
My wife is that.
Really,
It's my wife. 14 karat
and
and
the
up.
doctor said it's even when it's really good jewelry too, bracelets, necklaces, anything. It's still a limited amount of time she can wear it. Otherwise, she will get so itchy and get hives in a sense. They're little tiny bumps, just like irritated skin. It's the same with her earrings. Even when she wears really good earrings, she can't wear them. Like she could never be a person that puts them in the morning, wears them all day, falls asleep in them. It's limited amount of time because it too, and the doctor has told her before that it's a nickel allergy. So she tries to buy nickel free, but it still doesn't seem to fix it unless it's really high quality. And again, then it still will bother her after a period of time. So great along the lines of allergies, and still great thing that we need to ask a pharmacist. That's why I was so hesitant to bring up our allergy discussion today, because I feel like it is it affects so many people, not just Americans, but it affects so many Americans that we really needed a professional to help us out with
Well,
that
guess
one.
what? We've started the conversation.
Absolutely. We're making a list.
What is? I'm trying to think of the name of the doctor. An allergist.
Oh,
Specialist.
well, yeah, there is. You know what? Let me
Because
pull up
I remember you asked me this question earlier in this conversation, if I had allergies when I was younger. Yes, because I remember going to a doctor for my allergies, and they give you all these tests. And,
yes, there's many different testing. That's what I was
found
reading
out
about in the research.
I was allergic to mold and grass and trees and,
Wow.
all things growing, kind of.
Well, if you Google LaPorte Hospital / find a doctor,
Right.
You'll pull up a website. And what I'm doing right now is I'm going to it so I can pull up. So there's a little line that says click here to start searching for a doctor.
Okay, while you're doing that, I'm going to throw this out from the LaPorte Hospital. We've got some screenings and information which are available at several locations in our viewing and listening audience area here with Younger Life. We appreciate you guys being a part of that. Mary Gelati, of course, our guest in studio, chatting about great things. Tomorrow, we've got a couple of things that are going on. Today is the big event with scissors. And what is that technically called?
Running with scissors and other things you shouldn't do.
We're going to be out
it's a
there.
safety fair at Civic Auditorium from 2 to 6 p.m. today.
The 13th, tomorrow at Cablin's off of Andrew Avenue in LaPorte. They're going to be doing some screenings, 10 to 11:30. That'll be Central. We've got another one on the 15th at Bailey's Discount Center, and that's off of Range Road in North Judson. That, of course, the Goodwill, which is off of Lincoln Way in LaPorte. Some ongoing screenings on the 19th. Also on the 19th, Al's Supermarket off of Lincoln Way in LaPorte. And there's a plethora of things going on, whether it's at the PAC Center, Al's Supermarket, and also LaPorte Hospital's counterpart, Stark Hospital, which has got some stuff for viewers and listeners in that neck of the woods. April 28th off of Culver Road, and that's in Knox. But if you'd like some more information, we will help you out. The mobile health unit, of course, is made possible with funding from the foundation and LaPorte Hospital. So
Fantastic.
Kind of want to give you some insight to that.
When I did a little search right here, I just I pulled up for allergy issues. Find a doctor. It gives a whole long list. What's really nice about this website, again, LaPorte Hospital, if you just Google LaPorte Hospital / find a doctor,
Right.
It'll pull up. There's a tab for find a doctor. There it says specialties. I just pulled down the bar and allergy is on there. So I clicked that. And so what's really nice is it gives you the doctor's picture, their name, their phone number. It tells what they specialize in. And then you can actually request an appointment with that doctor straight from online if you don't want to call them. But at least you can find out a little bit about them, whether they specialize in children's allergies or, seasonal allergies, whatever. I think it's so important to point out that, you don't have to suffer through it or halfway manage your symptoms. You know what I mean?
Right,
So
right.
talk to a doctor, find out what they can do for you. And especially knowing it's supposed to be such a severe season
That's a
of
great
allergies.
service.
Yeah, absolutely. I love this find a doctor thing. I feel like you can read about them. You can kind of feel like you know what you're going into. It's scary to go see a doctor you don't know,
Sure.
And so if you're not comfortable enough with your own physician to talk to them about it, or if you don't have a doctor, I know right now my husband and I don't have a family doctor. Our children see a pediatrician, but our family doctor, whom we loved, left family practice to do strictly ER.
Oh.
And he's fantastic. I think he's brilliant. But So that left us high. I'm thinking, he has partners, but it's nice to be able to do a little bit of research. So
I just got a text message asking you guys giving more insight to the First Friday Chapel things that are going on, when the next one is. Absolutely. May 6th will be the next one. And I want to throw this out there. The First Friday in the Chapel, and that series offers outstanding musical performances.
Right.
As we all know, each month it is made possible by the LaPorte Hospital Foundation and the Chapel Fund for holistic health, including body, mind, and spirit. Just kind of throwing out some good, vibes from our LaPorte Hospital and from some of the folks that are in and around the area. I really dig
important.
that. I didn't realize that with the website either, where you could pull down
you can
and kind of
pull up any
search.
specialty,
I like
which is
that.
nice. And you can
I like
put an
that.
area, because say I wanted to do a broader range than just, if you just didn't want to look in LaPorte, Michigan City,
Sure.
you can pull up, any in Indiana. So, I mean, that's nice too, just to be able to compare, contrast, whatever. Or if you needed a second opinion, you never know. And it's important to be proactive in your own health.
And I think every single person has their own issue.
Oh, absolutely.
And whether they skirt around it, whether they're in denial about it, but when you're alone and you've got your computer in front of you,
it's a little easier.
It's a lot easier.
And it's nice to feel like you're doing something, again, proactive in your own.
Correct.
In your own
I agree.
treatment and stuff. So, I love the Find a Doctor thing. It's relatively new to me that
Yes.
so I've found it to be
Well,
pretty
you better
interesting.
get on there and find one.
I have been actually doing a lot of research on different
Are
family
you
doctors.
telling her
and
that she
that's
needs a doctor?
Well, she
I
might,
do, I
and
should.
Let me tell you, if you get sick, it's kind of hard at the last minute to find
It
somebody,
is.
and they won't prescribe until you go and see them. Which
You're
is
right.
Which is
I
understandable and
understand.
unfortunate.
Yes, I do.
It's
yeah,
unfortunate.
but have you
that
ever
it's
been
come to
so
that.
sick where you've just been in the doctor's office and you're like, please don't make me come in, just write me a prescription.
I
But
know, it's
they
terrible.
can't do that,
And right,
And-
and there's just, it's that's really difficult, and it is hard if it is a last minute injury or illness that is it really severe enough for the ER? You know what I mean? So
Well, you
then
have
you're
to
going
make
to a
that decision,
clinic or something,
right.
and it's not your doctor. It's really nice to get a good relationship with your doctor.
Oh, it is.
And if you don't have a current one that you have,
Love
even
my
if you have a
doctor.
doctor, if you don't love your doctor or feel like you can
Right.
discuss something with them, look for a new one.
They're,
You have so
they're
many
asking
options.
for that website. Can you throw that
Okay,
out there?
if you Google LaPorte Hospital,
Okay.
I did LaPorte Hospital / find a doctor.
30 seconds.
It's gonna pull up. It actually pulls up Indiana University Health, and then you click on the Find a Doctor tab. And when you do click on Find a Doctor tab, there will be there's a bunch of words, but there will be a section that says click here to start searching for your doctor. And then that's what I did. And then you can pull down any specialty, any location, and go for it.
I'm Rick Federici.
I'm Mary Ann.
Thank you, Mary Gelati. Younger
you.
Life. Bye.
AM 1420, WIMS Michigan City, a Girard Media Company station.